For this Madden Guides video breakdown, we're going to take a look at a blitz setup out the nickel 2-4 double mug that brings A-gap and outside pressure on the right side of the offensive line. The play that we use for this blitz setup is the nickel 2-4 double mug mid-zero blitz, and you'll find this one out of several different playbooks. And for this video breakdown, the one that we're going to use as far as playbooks are concerned is the Chargers. As far as coaching adjustments are concerned, we're just going to make two. First, we're going to make sure that we got auto flip defensive play call turned off, and then we're going to go to auto alignment for this one and turn base. This one you might want to adjust depending on how you like to run your defense, but for the purpose of this video breakdown, we are going to set it to base. For this blitz setup, we're going to make just one substitution. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't make more substitution depending on what your personnel is, but for this purpose of this video breakdown, we're using the Chargers. So what we're going to do here is we're going to sub out Colson. And what we want to do is we want to bring in a faster defender. In this case, Woods, I believe he's like a 92 speed. So we're going to bring him in at that position. So he'll more or less be playing the right inside linebacker. So that's the only substitution we're going to make. Like I said, with your team, depending on what team you're using, will determine who you put there. All right, before I show the blitz setup here for the nickel 2-4 double mug mid-zero blitz, I want to take a look at the pass rush and the pass assignments. Also want to talk about base align versus default. So I've already mentioned in the coaching adjustments that I want to have base align turn on. So that's what I suggested. Now you may not want to do that. You may want to go with, default. That's up to you. But if you decide to go with base align against the bunch formation, you're going to notice that this guy right here, which is the free safety, he is covering the tight end. He's totally on the opposite side of him. So that could be a problem right there. One of the things you'd have to do is it's going to take a little extra time as far as the blitz setup. You'd have to move this guy down. You might even want to move this guy here and get him a little bit closer, which is fine. I just want to point that out to you. It's going to slow your blitz down. Also on the outside here, you're going to notice that this corner who's covering the outside receiver on the bunch side right here, he's lined up pretty far off of him, right? And he's to the outside. So if you call press coverage, just call press coverage here, you'll get him to move up a little closer where he's pressed up against that receiver. And the same thing on the other side, you would get this. So you can make your adjustments here, inside, outside shade, maybe, underneath, over the top, whatever you want to do. But that's it right there. Now, I'm going to run this defense here in just a second. Before I do that, let's talk about the coverages real quick. So you got these 5 defenders now that are in man coverage as you look at it. So you got 5 defenders in man coverage. And then you're going to have 6 defenders that are going to be rushing the quarterback as you look at it. So you're going to have, by default, you would normally have 2 defensive linemen and 4 linebackers. Because I subbed in a safety at the linebacker space, at the linebacker position, you're going to end up having 2 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 1 safety rushing the quarterback. So that's it right there. Now, the last thing I want to do before we set up the blitz here is typically the pass rush without making any adjustments at all, and this is all assuming that the running back is going out, more than likely the pressure is going to come from this linebacker right here off the edge from the right side of the offensive line in most cases. That's the guy you should end up getting pressure on. So let's go ahead and run this, and then we'll just talk about, we'll get into the actual setup here, the blitz setup. So I'm going to go ahead and run this and just watch that linebacker. Typically it's going to be that linebacker that brings the pressure on the quarterback in most cases where he gets a free release. So if you don't make any adjustments at all, you can expect that. Let's go ahead and run it one more time here as you look at it without making any adjustments. I'm just going to go ahead and snap it. And again, you can see it's that guy coming through there. We just happen to get another defender through. But most of the time, it's almost always going to be that outside linebacker to the right side of the offensive line that applies pressure. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to go in here and we're going to go ahead and show you the blitz setup with this particular defense that's going to bring that A-gap pressure, and it's also going to bring outside pressure. All right, the blitz setup is pretty simple with this particular defense I'm about to show here as far as the nickel 2-4 double mug mid-zero blitz. So let's go ahead and do the setup quickly, and then we'll go into the X and O's of the play, and we'll take a look at it a little bit more deeper. So the first thing you're going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and call press coverage. Now, that's up to you because I got baseline. I want to make sure I get those corners at least closer to the outside receiver, especially that one on the right. And I'm going to do over the top, though. I'm actually not going to press as far as this. I'm going to look like I'm pressing, but I'm not. So I'm going to go over the top. Again, that's up to you. as far as the over top, inside, outside shade. It's all up to you. I am going to bring this guy down, which sucks for me because it's going to take a little extra time out of my blitz, but I'm going to at least get him into this area here. Now I'm kind of showing my hand a little bit here, if you will, but that's what I'm going to do with this setup here. And then the next thing I want to do here is, now this is the key to make this blitz work, is you're going to take control of this guy right here, which is going to be this linebacker right here, and you're going to slide him over. Now you want to get him up near that line of scrimmage. Now I talked about this in another video breakdown previously in one of the other blitz setups I just showed. Make sure you're holding down the left stick. You can look on the screen there and you'll see that I got the left stick going down towards the center. Now what I want to do here is I'm going to go ahead and snap the ball. What I want you guys to do is watch, and you guys are going to see that safety that I subbed in there, he's going to apply the pressure in that A gap, and he's going to come right up it and get pressure pretty quick on a quarterback. Now hopefully while we're doing this, as you look at it here, let's go ahead and take a look at this a little more here. This guy right here is going to apply the pressure, right? And then this guy as well. So these two guys are actually going to shoot through from the outside and from the inside. So this guy's going to apply that pressure that, as you look at it, he's going to apply the pressure right here through that A gap. And then this guy right here is going to apply the pressure from the outside as you're looking at your screen. So what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and snap the ball here, and I want you guys to watch. Now, the other thing I'm going to do is one last adjustment I'm going to make. And this one's up to you. I'm going to go ahead and put this guy in a, I'm going to go ahead and put him in a middle read as you look at your screen here. We're going to put him in a middle read. And what I'm going to do is once the ball is snapped, I'm going to continue to hold down the left stick going in about the 6 o'clock position. And once he engages the center, I'm going to release him and let him drop back into pass coverage. So let's go and take a look at this, and you guys will see the pressure as it comes from that safety and also from that outside linebacker. And right there, you can see that we get the pressure coming right up the gap, and we also get it from the outside. So what I want to do now is I want to go into instant replay and take a look at this one so you guys can see how this one works with the X and O's of the play. All right, from the top down view, let's take a look at the X and O's of the play here as you look at it. Now this one is a nice blitz. It works pretty good. I will tell you this, you're going to want to lab this against different formations because it may not always work against every single formation in the game, but against the gun bunch, it works nicely against that one, especially if the running back going out the pass block. So as you look at this, what you're going to see here is the pressure is going to come from, as I pointed out earlier, it's going to come from this guy right here, which is going to be that safety. Remember, he's the one that we put here in that position. As I said before, you don't have to put a safety there. I think one of the reasons I like it is because he's a little bit smaller, a little bit quicker, can get in a lot faster than what most linebackers can. And then, as I pointed out earlier, we're looking to get pressure from this guy as well from the outside to bring it from this direction here. So that's going to prevent the quarterback from having a whole lot of time to throw it. And we're going to do this with a 5-man pass rush. If you remember right, I dropped this guy in the mid zone. I hot routed him in the mid zone. So he's going to drop back as well, giving us some little help as far as maybe some of those intermediate routes. So we're hoping that we can get the pressure before the quarterback has enough time to throw it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and show you this as I go through this. And right there, you can see we get that inside pressure. Let's zoom in a little bit right here. And you can see that safety shoots right through that A gap. Now, the key to this is I want you guys to watch this guy right here, this right guard. Watch what he does initially when the ball snaps. All right, he's looking right now at this point, and he really doesn't have anybody to block at this point. He's kind of looking at this direction here, but he's not really blocking anybody, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to slide. You're going to see him sliding in this direction here, but he's going to be too late to pick up that safety, the one that's blitzing. And the other thing is, if you look at this, the center, because I'm pressing down on that right stick or left stick before the ball snap, this linebacker here is coming in, and he's basically making sure that the center is occupied. This guy right here, the one that I'm in control of, at least initially. I remember he's dropping back in that, in that coverage right there. But once I engage him, I'm going to release him, and then I'm going to switch off. Now, the cool thing about this, you don't have to switch to the closest pass rusher. If you wanted to, or if I'd wanted to, I could have switched, say, over to one of these guys over here. Maybe I switched over to the running back by pressing on the left stick or something like that towards the left with the B button. You could do that and real quick and switch. But I'm not going to, I just want to point that out to you. That's something else you can do. I will probably do a video breakdown on that as well. But as you can see right there, here comes the pressure coming up the gut, and then plus we get this outside pressure as well. So the quarterback really can't roll away into this area because he's going to get more or less going to get sacked. So that's the nice thing about that one. And then as you look, the only other things I wanted to talk about briefly real quick as far as the offensive line pass protection, here's what it shapes up to be as you look at it, more or less. And then you got this guy right here. This is the guy sliding over trying to block this direction here. That's what the offensive line by default pass protection is going to look with this particular blitz. So that's the nice thing about this defense. And then as you zoom out, you can see right there the defender that I dropped back with, this guy right here. Now I can stay in control of him as well and take this away, or I can, manually take control of somebody else if I wanted to. But here you go, as you look at your screen right there, he's dropping back into that mid zone. So that's it on that as far as with that setup. What I want to do now is I'm going to show you a couple other things that you guys might want to watch out for with this setup. Now another setup you can do is basically the same thing. Is if you want to go ahead and call press coverage, and then you can call QB contain. That's what I'm gonna go here with this. And then the rest of the setup's pretty much the same here as you look at. I'm gonna go ahead and move this guy down into this position here and do something like this. And then I gotta be really quick to do this, but then you're gonna take control of this guy. Now you can bring him over. Now, if you feel it rumbling on your controller, it means you got him too far over. You want to go ahead and bring him back a little bit like this, like that, and make sure he's head up over the center, such as what you see on your screen. And then again, we're going to get that same type of pressure. So I want you guys to go ahead and watch this as I run this. So I'm going to go ahead and snap it. And this time, just keep in mind, we're in QB contain. So we get kind of the same thing. The only difference is now if the quarterback tries to roll out, we'll be able to take that away. So that's really it as far as with this setup. I think this is a defense that if you kind of mess around with it and play with it against different formations, you're going to find that it can definitely bring some pressure. The only other thing I want to talk about before I finalize this video and get through my final thoughts here is I've been moving this guy over to this direction here. If you're having issues in getting pressure the way you want it, you may consider taking control of this guy and move him over and then put him head up over. Now that's against other formations. Against the bunch, it seems like it works best the other way I showed. But for example here, let's go ahead and run this. You can try this and see if this will get some pressure. Maybe run against another formation. Maybe the trip's tied in or whatever. You might want to try something a little bit different. But at any rate, you can move each one of these guys one way or the other and see which one works best for you. So if you're in the lab messing with this and you're running against different formations and the way I'm showing it's not working, try it this way and move this guy over and see if it works for you. So right there, you can try something like that. There I didn't get the pressure against the gun bunch, but it may work against something else. The best way to run this is against the gun bunch is to do it the way I've been doing it here, where I'm showing this guy right here, and then I'm just going like this. That's the best way to run it, and it's pretty consistent. So anyway, guys, this is another defense I wanted to show to you guys that I'm really kind of digging so far this year. It does bring some nice pressure. Rather not EA decides to patch it down the road, who knows. But the way the game is, in my opinion, man coverage right now is about the best way you can play the game as far as defending. Not saying the zone coverage isn't there, but it needs some improvement. Let me just say that much, in my opinion. But at any rate, this is another defense you might want to mess with and just try it out. Just remember, it's a high risk, high reward because you are running cover zero. So again, this defense is called the nickel 2-4 double mug mid zero blitz, looking to get some A-gap pressure from a safety that we sub in where he'll shoot through the left guard and center. And then we're also looking to get pressure from the outside linebacker on the right side of the offensive line.